Hey, everybody. We're back with Good Mom, and I'm here. I'm Lindsay, and I'm here with Sunny today. Hi, Sunny.
Hi, guys.
Well, I got to tell you, this has been a topic that's been near and dear to my heart for a while, and I think it's important to have this conversation, Sunny. It's really about what's happening politically in the world and how to
Yeah,
keep family together, even if you want to disagree on specific aspects of what's happening. And it's hard. It's getting harder. So let me share a little story. And then I think you have some insight in this one too, especially how to communicate it with children who are in your
yes.
household. Um, so I am a person, and I know you align with me on this one, so this might be hard for our audience to get to, but it's okay. I don't buy into either side of an aisle. I see
Mm,
something that is much bigger that's
right,
occurring in the world that is not about just American politics, left and right.
right.
Those are things that are happening, and there's conversations to create a lot of fear and anxiety in people. But I listen to it all, and I'm trying to very diligently create the world that I want to live in, which is listening to people and understanding their point of views and trying to not have a real strong opinion about much of it, but
Mm,
more just a good listening aspect. And then doing stuff locally that I can do that affects creating more love and joy and harmony. And because that's what the world I want to live in, right? Well, I just recently had a conversation with some family members who thought I was literally smoking something. And I must be a person who is 1,000% behind our current president because I'm not hating him. And I'm like, okay, let's go back. I don't do hate. Let's just go back. That's not going to happen. And what I'm attempting to do is to find avenues where I can influence or do something about it in my local community because I can't change what's happening on a global scale by myself. That's not even realistic. So, for any of us to think that just because we hate somebody, it's going to change, that's the mistake. That is the mistake. It doesn't work to hate. So, that's where we are. And I'm trying to figure out how we can serve our audience, even in elevating their consciousness or their awareness that hate isn't the answer, even when other people are hating.
yes.
So I don't
Yeah.
know where to go with this one, but I'm going to let you step in.
Yeah, and it's such a big thing that influences all of us
It
right now,
does.
especially, we're based in the US and yeah, I'm sure it's everywhere,
It's everywhere.
honestly.
Yeah,
But what's interesting about the US is usually where the US goes, other countries have a tendency to follow, right?
right.
So I really try to pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah,
But I'm with you on this. I try to look at I've often said to people, why do we even have political parties?
right.
I can't think of any good reason to have a political party unless you're trying
Anymore.
to
Yeah.
control something, right?
Hmm.
Trying to
Hmm.
control views, you're trying to control money, only allow certain people to have a lot of money to be able to enter a political race. I see
It's
no,
power.
it's power and
Mhm.
control,
Yeah,
and I'm not a fan of either
either
aisle.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, and I have to tell you, I didn't always feel that way, but over the years, I started to be more aware
yeah.
that there's not just two sides here. There's a lot of stuff
No,
going on, in the
exactly.
in the background. And what's tough with kids is they see this stuff all day long,
Right.
and they're around people, whether it's their parents or in my situation, it's grandparents, especially
Right.
because we're staying with my
We're
parents
staying with your parents. Yeah. Right. Totally.
not for the summer. There's like everything around us is political. There's political signs. There
Wow.
are political shows playing constantly. I got into kind of a uncomfortable conversation. This was like a few months ago now with my mom because I don't even know if she told me or if my girls told me, but she was watching one of her political shows and something came on the TV about, hey, there's this new thing for kids. And it's like this series of like little booklets or pamphlets or something like that that is geared toward kids about whatever side of the aisle, you're trying to get your kids to be more interested
Wow.
in. And she automatically ordered it for my girls. And
Wow.
I don't think she told me. If I recall the story correctly, she didn't tell me. The girls told me because the
Told you.
girls knew that I was not going to be happy about this.
Right, exactly.
I felt like it was even worse because I wasn't consulted on it, right? And
Right.
I sent a text message because at this time I was in California. My parents were here. And I sent a text message and I'm like, just so you know, that's not welcome in our house. I don't want this. I
Yeah.
say, if it's neutral information
Yeah.
about the history of our country, because that's kind of how some of this propaganda gets out there. It's like,
Correct. Yeah.
don't you love the United States? You know?
Yes, we do.
We
Yeah.
love our country. I think all people should love their country.
Agreed.
Period. I
Just
don't
like
care
you
where
should
they
love your
came from.
neighborhood. I mean, you can take it all the way down to the
Absolutely.
smallest organism, the family. So we should.
Absolutely.
Like, right. It makes sense.
Yeah. So she had already ordered these books, and eventually they came in the mail.
Oh,
And I looked through them, and they were like, they came, I don't know, multiple came at a time. So I'm going through this material. There was some stuff that was just more historical, but
yeah.
once it got to the point, it's like some of the information was historical, and then they'd throw in, and that's why this president is so great, or this political party is so great because it stands for this, this, and this. And our history is not our real history. Okay,
No.
so the information that they are giving is not accurate,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so that kind of stuff I kept away from my girls. If it was just about the structure of the United States and, oh, we have a Senate and a House of Representatives and that's called Congress, I'm fine with that. In fact, this summer, in about, I don't know, is it about 3 weeks from now, we're taking a trip to Washington, D.C. to
Excellent.
learn more
Yeah.
about our government.
Love it.
And I think that's great. And I love the fact that they're not just going to hear about the Supreme Court, they're going to see the building where
Right.
the Supreme Court goes and the White House and all of that. I think that there's a lot of, I don't know,
Oh,
just
it,
importance in that.
there
And
is.
not
Go see
just
the
reading
Declaration
about
of Independence. It's
it.
awesome.
Yes.
It's like that
Yes.
is a very sacred space. But anyway, yeah.
I
So,
just draw the line where it's like you need to believe this and
yeah,
all that propaganda. It's
right.
just I don't want that in my kids' head. I want them
No.
to follow their hearts. Like if they
Yes.
want to vote, if they want to do all of that,
Yeah.
then what is your heart telling you to do? What is it telling you is right? And
Yeah.
it should be based on whatever letter someone has after their name when they're on the ticket.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's about shared values, right?
Yeah.
And so when families come apart, it's because one or more people has a higher priority for one value over another. So some people value certain things differently. And as you grow up and expand, and as a child, even, I started to recognize when my values shifted from my own
Mhm.
parents and vice versa. And there's only so much you can do to control the path of a child is not really the importance. It's to allow them and to teach them how to make good decisions based on what they value most. If
Right.
that can be their constant barometer, they will succeed in life, even when the yuck hits the fan.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a time when it seems like it's getting harder and harder in families to communicate that I see it differently, but I love you anyway.
Right.
And I think that's gotta come into the picture. Do you know what Ho'oponopono, that prayer is? It's a Hawaiian prayer, and I'll
Oh,
spell it
actually,
completely wrong, so I'm not going to even try for the listeners, but you can look it up, Ho'oponopono,
okay.
and it's really basically saying, Dear Sunny, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. When something happens that it's just different and you can't get through it, practice the prayer. And
Mhm.
I've been doing that recently with some of my family members because it's just been so difficult and even with my kids who are now 26 and 30. They have very different opinions about certain things, not everything, but
Right.
certain things. And we have to learn how to accept and value the family connection or the love much more than the difference. And it's hard. I'm not saying I'm well practiced and I'm certainly learning myself, but
I'm learning too. I recall a time, I want to say this is over a year ago, maybe even closer to 2 years now, where I was discovering kind of the lies behind our political system. And
Mm,
I wanted to share that with my family because
yeah.
they are so political. And
Yeah.
I thought, well, truly, I'm sure they would value truth over just being assigned to a political party or whatever. But one of the things that I have learned is that timing is everything. And it's really not up to you to change someone's mind
No.
about how they feel towards anything in life. But in this
Nope.
case, politics. So when I was discovering all this stuff, I shared it. And I got pretty upset when I was rejected for my thoughts
Yeah.
because I thought, you're not even listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it resulted in friction between me and my parents over this.
Yep.
And it wasn't until sometime later where I learned what I just said. And that is, if you give information and if it's appropriate to give information, and you got to be mindful about all that stuff. If people
Yep.
are asking questions, that's one thing, but just constantly sharing your thoughts may not be
May not be
the
the right
best,
answer.
may not
Yeah.
be the best way to go. But that there's a timing for stuff, and it's so much more valuable
Hmm.
for you to love on people and accept them as they are. And when you do it that way, usually, not always, but what I have found is my parents are more willing to listen to me now because I'm not trying to change their mind about anything.
No.
If something comes up and they ask my opinion, I'll share it.
Right.
But I'm not trying to convert anybody.
No.
And that
Exactly.
has gone over so much more smoothly
I love
than
that.
jamming it down their throats. That
So
doesn't
the
work.
moral of this story is tell the truth and be prepared to not convert anyone, just
Hmm.
share. And meanwhile, allow your kids to learn which way they value the most.
Yeah.
It's their role in their life to grow up. And it sounds like you and I had a similar circumstance with parents who maybe saw it differently.
Yeah.
But part of why we are the way we are is because they saw it differently. And so you have to just accept it all. It's all one thing. It's just God working in magical ways. So love it.